Hi, come to see the competition at the Blitz World Championships. Our beloved Magnus Carlsen has already been crowned the champion twice, and this third time he will try to destroy the powerful contender Hikaru Nakamura. The latter is a prominent figure in professional chess, and his inhuman speed and accuracy of moves are well known. Intrigued? We are too, so let's go and see the huge game. Although Magnus has many wins, Hikaru is a considerable threat to Magnus's crown. Their score is equal to 16.5. Hikaru has beaten Rauf Mamedov, tying Magnus for first place. Magnus, wielding the white pieces, initiated the game with a solid opening move, advancing his pawn to d4. Hikaru, in response, promptly deployed his knight to f6, indicating a readiness to engage in a strategic battle. Unfazed by Hikaru's move, Magnus continued his plan by developing his second knight to f3. Hikaru briefly assessed his options before advancing his pawn to d5, setting the stage for an intriguing confrontation. With their initial pieces in play, the game unfolded into a familiar setup known as the London system. Magnus, possessing an active bishop positioned effectively at the great center, prompted Hikaru to counter by placing his own bishop on d6. Displaying his tactical prowess, Magnus decided to initiate a trade of bishops, subsequently engaging in a series of pawn exchanges, explicitly targeting the d and c pawns. Each trade executed by Magnus favored him, leveraging their previous encounters and emphasizing his advantage. Recognizing the long-term prospects, he advanced his pawn to c4, prompting Hikaru to contemplate his response. After careful consideration, Hikaru made another pawn trade, unwittingly activating Magnus's bishop. Hikaru made a seemingly safe move by his king to fortify his position in castle. Little did he know that this move would begin a tumultuous ordeal. Magnus, seizing the opportunity, initiated his next move by playing rook to c1, exerting pressure on Hikaru's queen through an X-ray tactic. This unexpected threat caused Hikaru to reevaluate his options, prompting him to retreat his queen to a safer square, cautiously. Building upon his strategic advantage, Magnus proceeded to castle his king and rook, further solidifying his position. Hikaru, in response, made a defensive move by advancing his pawn to b6, attempting to reinforce his defenses. In an attempt to gain the upper hand, Magnus offered another trade of bishops, which Hikaru reluctantly agreed to, realizing the need to adapt to the evolving dynamics of the game. Capitalizing on his position, Magnus then made a decisive move by deploying his knight to e5, swiftly occupying the center of the board. Contemplating his options briefly, Hikaru decided to pursue a trade, opting to play his knight to d7. This move aimed to alleviate the pressure and neutralize Magnus's dominating knight. In his turn, Magnus deviates from the expected path and makes a surprising move, queen to f3, offering a trade of queens. However, Hikaru quickly realizes that capturing the knight on that square would result in losing his queen. Hikaru promptly moves his queen to a different square to avoid such a predicament, declining the queen's trade. Despite Hikaru's agility in playing faster, his time on the clock is dwindling more quickly than usual, adding an element of pressure to the game. Capitalizing on the situation, Magnus advances his knight to c6, threatening to check Hikaru's king. In response, Hikaru promptly moves his king away from the potential check. And now, the game takes an exciting turn. Magnus positions his knight on c4, recognizing the need to make a decisive move to secure victory. This move allows Hikaru to capture a pawn without consequence, although he reluctantly does so. While capturing free pawns can be advantageous, doing so against an opponent like Magnus can be perilous. Magnus, undeterred, initiates a threat by playing g5, aiming to attack Hikaru's knight on f6. However, Hikaru counters the attack, simultaneously opening a square for his attacked knight to escape, potentially. Magnus seizes the opportunity, positioning his rook on h4. Subsequently, he engages in material trades, sacrificing Hikaru's knights to capture his rook. In a final attempt, Hikaru plays his rook to f8, hoping to find a checkmate opportunity targeting Magnus's f2 square. Magnus, astutely perceiving the threat, counters by placing his rook on f4, eliminating any possibility of Hikaru winning the match. If Hikaru were to capture the rook, Magnus would swiftly checkmate him, using the back rank. Acknowledging the inevitable, Hikaru resigns, thus declaring Magnus Carlsen the three-time consecutive Blitz World Champion. You've witnessed the thrilling conclusion of this intense chess battle between Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura, crowning Magnus as Blitz World Champion for the third consecutive time. Give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. By doing it, you'll stay up to date with the latest news and content in the world of chess. We also encourage you to share your thoughts and recommendations for other exciting games in the comments section below.